we're going to go to the TikTok psychic case first. For all of you that are like, Emily, what are we even talking about? I've got you. This case is adjacent to the Koberger prosecution, where a psychic on TikTok accused a professor at the University of Idaho of carrying out the quadruple homicide, and not just carrying out the quadruple homicide, but having a teacher-student relationship with one of the victims of an intimate and inappropriate relationship when you are the teacher and they are the student, amongst other things. So the professor did what people being defamed do on the internet and sent a cease and desist. How does that normally go? When you send a content creator a cease and desist, 8 times out of 10, it's going to become content. And that's exactly what happened. Remember, the attorney for the professor called it a clout circus in a footnote at one point, right? So sent to cease and desist. The cease and desist became content. It became clear that the TikToker, who no longer has a TikTok account, was going to double down. And so the TikToker doubled down and said, more, accusing the professor of murder and violating her ethics as a professor at the university, etc. And then the professor sued, because a cease and desist is a shot across the bow, right? It is a warning, if we do not change course, there is going to be a lawsuit. Sued in federal court. TikToker decided to self-represent. That's been going well. And so the TikToker decided to represent herself in federal court in Idaho and lost a summary judgment motion. So lost the summary judgment motion, which means that the court determined that the defamation did happen, or was proven enough that the TikToker could be held liable for it. So the TikToker has now been held liable for defamation. And now there's going to be a trial just on damages. How much do you owe over this thing? The TikToker has been backpedaling as fast as possible. And again, this has so many more bobs and weaves. I mean, more than the Tyson-Jake Paul fight for sure than that, because the TikToker missed the initial deadline to respond, and then there was a default enter, and then the default was reined back in, and the judge gave the TikToker another chance, and then there were oral arguments on several motions, and the judge extended grace and patience, and no fines yet. And the judge has been exceedingly patient. I've attended all those hearings via audio and have covered those here on the playlist for this case. If we have one, I think we do. So the judge has been exceedingly patient, and now the TikToker has been found liable, which means the question of did defamation happen is moot. It's done. It's been found based on summary judgment motion. And now the TikToker is kicking and fighting via motion or meltdown to try to get another judge. So the TikToker filed 2 motions to try to get this case reassigned to a different judge after the ruling on the summary judgment motion. This got kicked to another judge to evaluate the motion to remove the judge. And comes now the memorandum, decision, and order from that other judge regarding this case. In sum, the TikTok psychic fucked around and found out. After having the court determine that she was liable for defamation against the University of Idaho professor, she tried to have the judge reassigned by, as the judge reviewing this matter said, misrepresenting the record. And it was not well taken that the record was being misrepresented, to try to show that the judge was biased against her when he clearly was not. This matter will go back to the judge that it's been heard before, and the court reminded the TikToker multiple times in this motion, if she does not like the ruling on the motion for summary judgment, then she can appeal it. But otherwise, this case keeps moving forward. Do you think we're going to see an appeal in this case? Maybe. Appellate law is incredibly specific, so pro se appellate work is going to be very interesting, but we're in this one till it's done. But for now, the state of the TikTok psychic case is she has asked the court to revisit their ruling on the summary judgment, which is going to be denied. She may try to appeal this ruling, and that's not going to go very far. And then this will at some point go to trial on damages because I don't see the TikTok psychic doing what would probably be best here, which is settling for a fixed amount of damages. It is unlikely to happen. For deep dives into the stories that I covered here, you can find them on my YouTube channel at The Emily D. Baker and The Emily Show podcast. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. The podcast goes live on Wednesdays. And if you want to stay in the loop with everything I'm doing, receive the fastest notifications out there, and get more Law Nerd community, join me at lawnerdapp.com, our free app for iOS and Android.